Today, I would like to talk to you about how utterly important it is to be authentic. How important it is to be who you are in the fullest possible way. Well, I was born in Suriname. Some politicians wish to call me a non-Western immigrant. I really don't know why, maybe so they won't confuse me with other immigrants who are more welcome or, I don't know, less of a pain in the butt. But, I'm from Suriname. My mom was a teenager when she got pregnant. She was 18 when she got pregnant for me. And when I was 5, we moved to the Netherlands in search for a better life. That didn't work out immediately. By the time my mom was 24, she had 3 children, no husband, and no diplomas, and she was living on welfare in a country that wasn't her own. So, as she struggled to work her way out of this position, she managed to teach me how important it was to have an education and also not to get pregnant before I was maybe 40, something like that. So all the time I was fully aware of the frame that carried my image, the picture that people saw when they looked at me, like this foreign kid, this poor, underprivileged, single-parent kid on welfare. So for me, it was a challenge to grow up and not be what people thought that I was. At the same time, in the streets, it was a challenge to not become what society thought that street kids, and with street kids I mean hangjongeren, like me, were. The Jamaican singer Tanya Stephens, she said it like this, and please do not worry, I won't sing it. Tanya Stephens. How can I be good when it's so much cheaper to be bad? How can I survive when the chances I don't have? I have to hustle. In Surinamese, we call it hustle, and it means exactly the same thing. My best friend when I was 10 years old was this tall black girl who taught me everything I needed to know about how to make money. And one day she asked me, Karin, if your bike breaks down and you see a new one, a good one, unlocked, what do you do? So I said, well, I'll just let it sit there. And she says, why? And I said, well, people think that we're bad because we're immigrants and because we're poor. If I steal the bike, they'll just say to each other, you see, I told you so. These are bad people. They can't help themselves. That's just the way they are. So she looked at me and she said, you know what? I would definitely steal it. And you know why? Because people already think we're bad. If I take the bike, they'll still think the same. Nothing's changed. Only now, I have a new bike. So there it was. From a young age, I had to ask myself, who am I? Am I good or am I bad? Am I just this underprivileged kid from the ghetto? And what happens if I want to be more? What happens if I don't want to be just that? The thing is, I wasn't too good at this hustling thing. I wasn't good at soccer either, nor at any other sports. The only thing I was good at was school. So soon enough, my mom realized that this was my way out. So when I was 12, she sent me to the best high school she knew, even though none of my friends went there, and I really didn't want to go. And in this school, I followed classes in ancient Latin and Greek and philosophy and rhetoric. And the overall goal was to create the new intellectual elite. So it was a far cry from my friend, who taught me how to hustle and how to break into the boxes of our neighbors in our high-rise buildings, to steal the empty soda bottles so we could exchange them for hard cash at the supermarket. And yes, I did have a hard time figuring out how to balance my home situation with being poor and the intellectual culture and my new, very rich classmates. But by the time I was 15, I did no longer question my right to be there. So what happened? First of all, I learned how to say money doesn't stink in Latin. And there was a lesson I already learned. But no, the most important thing happened then when I was 15. I got introduced to the philosophical idea of authenticity. Now, I won't bore you silly with the exact definition of it. I don't think I could if I wanted to. But just to give you an idea. Modern man is faced with emotions and situations and ways of life that have all been felt and dealt with and done before. As Heidegger puts it, and I'm going to read this, we are born into a quiet world of conformity. It is easy to lose ourselves in a collective they. They do it like this, and so will I. We are living an inauthentic life, and then we die. Yes, we die. We'd rather forget the fact that living always ends in death. And in doing so, we lose our real selves in the idea that we are like them, the same. We are one with the rest. But in the light of this inner anxiety, we can find our way back and out of the collective being. So this idea tells us we have to be afraid of death to find ourselves. Now, for me, this idea appealed to me more than anything before. To me, it said, hurry. You better be fast in reaching your goals because you'll be dead before you know it. And it also said, you are not just your poor, underprivileged youth. You are not just this immigrant. You are not just a woman of color. This idea put the emphasis on individuality, on authentic choices rather than ethnicity, rather than nationality. For me, it was a way out. This, I think, is one of the most important lessons one can learn in life. The limited time that we have on this planet, and to fully use it in a way that makes us truly, really happy. To allow ourselves to grow into a direction that we feel the inner need to go to. We have to be authentic in the choices we make. That's what I learned back then. And we don't have to be, we should not let us be distracted by what we think society expects from us. For me personally, this idea of authenticity meant I could easily break from my background. Embracing the idea of authentic life meant embracing fear. I could be who I wanted because no matter what, in the end, I would die anyway. I could not change that fact. But as my friend said back in the day about stealing that bike, I may die, but at least I would have what I wanted. Thank you.